Hi and welcome to this week's episode of the DW podcast. I am joined by Prentice from Edinburgh rock band Vistas. Thanks very much for coming on.
No, thanks for having me.
How are you getting on? What's been happening with yourself?
Yeah, all right. Just just making the best of what we're doing at the moment. So I just relatively sound, but bit of a mad time.
Just before we started chatting there, started recording. Sorry, you were saying that you have started rehearsing again, and you've got a makeshift practice pad at the moment.
Yeah, it's in Dylan's garage. We've managed to sort of set it up so that it's like everyone's just on in-ears, so it's like silent, and we can all be like apart from each other and stuff. So it's like quite weird, like playing like that, but it's better than nothing. So sure. Yeah, it's been quite nice to just actually be able to like play guitar and like sing along with like the actual other bandmates of my band. So that's been quite nice the last couple of days.
For those that are watching or listening and maybe haven't heard of the band or haven't heard of yourselves, tell us a wee bit about the band then. I believe that you formed, well, I don't know when you formed, but certainly your first single was out early 2018 and you all went to school together, is that right?
Yeah, we all went to school, like same high school, and I was in a band with Jamie, and then I was in a different band with Dylan. And then after we left school and I was at uni and stuff, we just decided to sort of merge those two bands together, and that's where Vistas formed. We started in like our first gig was in like January of 2016, sure. And yeah, it's just been going from there. But we all met in high school, which is nice because we were sort of mates before we started playing music together. So that's been quite cool as well.
Probably makes it a bit easier as well, like you've got that relationship there already, especially if you're on the road a lot. And
therefore, I know it's good. It's good to like a lot. I mean, like a lot of bands say like, oh, it's nice to play like music with your best mates, but like these are like my actual schoolmates, so it's like it maybe even goes slightly deeper than that. So yeah, that's why Vistas has always been really really fun. I think just because we're pals just from early days.
That's brilliant, man. And I've been watching you rise and rise and rise, and it's amazing to see. And obviously, the album came out this year, straight up to number 2 in the Scottish charts, and I believe it was 2021 in the UK charts as well. So
yeah, no, that was like really really unexpected, because like charting and things like that's not really something that we ever really considered, because it was we didn't really ever think it would actually happen. So we didn't really have our hopes set on anything. So even to be within the top 40 was like a really, really mad thing. But to get like, I think the biggest one for us was getting number 1 in the independent artist charts, because that's a really important thing for us, because, we put the music out ourselves, and then for it to, sort of be recognized that it got to number 1 in that chart is a really, really cool thing. So we were dead proud of that and everything. So, but charting was an absolutely like a sort of surreal thing, because there's so many massive artists like on that thing, and we're just a small band from Scotland, but to get into 21 in the UK charts was a really really special thing. So so thank you very much to everyone who bought a copy or streamed it or whatever, because that was a really big deal for us for sure.
And those that haven't bought it, certainly go and get one. It's absolutely brilliant. I really enjoyed it myself as well. And
yes.
Were you all together when you got the chart entries in, or were you? What was that?
No,
imagine you were.
We were like phoning each other and texting each other, and we were on like FaceTime and things like that. But no, we weren't together and stuff like. But it was a weird sort of thing to like release a record under the circumstances that we're in. But I think we did it in the best way we could. We did like a launch night on Zoom, where we played like a couple of songs for people, and then like we answered a few questions, and then at midnight we just did like a full album playback, and it was quite cool because on Zoom, you can see everyone's faces, and we had like 250 people in this Zoom call, but it was you could see people like dancing to the music or like singing along to the tunes or whatever. So it was kind of had a sort of gig atmosphere, and so that was really cool. But yeah, I mean, under the circumstances, I think like we released it in sort of the best way we could, and I'm still glad that we did release it and we didn't have to postpone it like loads and loads and loads. And I think for our fans, it was like a nice little positive thing that came out of this this sort of time that we're in.
Certainly, and it's funny you mentioned that, because there's been a lot of bands that have postponed their albums, and obviously I'd imagine for yourselves you'll have gigs that you might be considering postponing or having to think that. So it is a strange time for the music industry, but it seems that, you know, it's been a great time for you guys.
Yeah, it's a really tricky time for any bands or sort of performance artists, because like the last thing that you want when you're like trying to book a gig or decide when a record comes out is to have like uncertainty around it, and there's no way that anyone can say, like, you could book a gig for September and be like, oh, we could play this gig, but there's no way you can guarantee that you'll be able to play it. So it's quite a difficult time for everyone, I think, who's involved in the arts at the moment. And like, it is a shame that people are having to push back the records and stuff, but obviously, like, the people who are pushing back the records, they'll be, you know, considering all their options before they make that decision. But a lot of it's to do with just, you know, being able to produce vinyls and CDs and stuff in time, because obviously those people, those companies have furloughed staff and things like that. So it's like, it's a whole big ordeal. But
it's things like that people, well, other than yourself that's involved, that just wouldn't think of as well. You know, it's
yeah. I mean, it's like, it's mad. It's actually like crazy how long it takes, like, to produce like vinyls, like, you know, because you got to get test pressings made, and then you've got to get artwork has got to be like specifically custom made with specific dimensions and things like that for vinyl sleeves and things. So it's like a whole big thing, and with production being slowed, like, in every industry at the moment, like, it does just add like a slightly different like layer of difficulty to those sort of things. But yeah, like, there's still lots of bands putting out music, particularly in August. There's like a lot of like indie bands putting out like albums and EPs and stuff in August. So August will be a good month for music for sure.
Who was your influences growing up then? What music were you into when you were, or even at the moment as well, I suppose, because
sure.
I think you've got quite a unique sound as well, you know.
Well, our big one was The View when we were in school. Sure. Because I think I was still in primary school when Hats Off to the Buskers came out, and I remember it being on. I remember Same Dreams being played on Fourth One, which is like, you know, the most sort of like commercial radio station in sort of Scotland. But to hear like a guitar, like a Scottish voice with guitars on like that type of radio, that was quite cool, and I was like, oh, that maybe be something I'd be interested in doing. So when we were in school, definitely like The View was a big one, but we were all like really into, you know, like sort of your classic indie bands like The Strokes and Kings of Leon and Two Door Cinema Club and like The Killers and bands like that. And yeah, so we take like influence from a lot of different places. Like Dylan's, you know, a huge Beatles fan. He loves, like, you know, the Beach Boys and things like that. Like a lot of music from that kind of period. And Jamie's into a lot more sort of like Chicago-based kind of punk, like garage rock and things like that. So yeah, it kind of just melds together, I guess, into what the sound is. I think there's I always think there is something sort of inherently Scottish about Vistas sound, but I guess it has been influenced by a lot of other things as well.
And I think that's good. You know, I think that's what makes it stand out as well as the Scottish accent. And it's funny you mentioned The View, because it's almost like for Scottish bands coming through, bands like that gave it that validation. You know, before you'd maybe have people wanting to change their accents as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like Biffy and The View and Twin Atlantic are like, you know, three huge bands who've had like very different but very successful careers. Like, and all of them are doing it with a Scottish accent. You know, so like, yeah, I mean, it was never really like a conscious thing to be like, oh, I'm going to sing with a Scottish accent. I just always, you know, just sung with kind of the voice that I speak with. But yeah, I guess that filters through like into the sort of Scottishness of it. And it's like, I don't know, I think it's good that just like bands who are from Scotland just sing with a Scottish accent, to be honest.
See, when you first picked up a guitar with the boys, did you ever do any covers?
Well, me and Jamie actually used to, like, we were in the same, because Dylan's a year younger than us, so me and Jamie were in the same music class together in high school, and we used to get the acoustic guitars off the wall, and we used to play Gemma Bird by The View like all the time. And we never got from the start to the end because the guitar solo was too difficult, so none of us could ever play it. But we used to play like songs like that like all the time together. And I remember, Jamie will probably probably not want me to say this because it's very embarrassing, but I remember when I was like, 15, and me and Jamie were, playing Gemma with Bird in school. Kyle Faulkner had posted a picture on Instagram, and I commented on it that night saying, like, "Hey Kyle, me and Jamie play your song every day," like as if he would like know who I was and like and care about that. But yeah, Jamie reminds me of that all the time. But yeah, we used to play like a bunch of songs like that, and as I say, it's quite funny because we could never actually finish them because we were never actually good enough at the guitar to get from the start bit to the end bit. We'd always just like get to the end of the first chorus and be like, "Oh, how does it go?" Like, no. But yeah, like I think doing stuff like that is really important because it sort of shows that it's fun to play music with your mates, and then eventually you'll probably get into writing your own stuff, and then I think that just takes up to the next level, and maybe that's where people go, well, maybe I actually want to be a songwriter or be in a band as opposed to just play covers with friends or whatever.
I think that's brilliant to hear stories like that, because when you see bands like yourself, that are totally professional, top sharp albums, and you think, what were they into when they were younger, and what was it that inspired them? And there must be so many bands out there that you just can't imagine sitting playing, covers in their bedroom with their mates.
No, it's probably how a lot of like people start playing, and I guess like as I was saying, there's probably a slight turning point where people go, well, either I just want to keep playing covers and that's enough for me, or maybe I'll start writing my own stuff, and then that's how bands kind of form and things like that.
Did Kyle ever get back to you?
No. Yeah, no, unfortunately not. No, I've met him a couple of times now, but I haven't ever brought that up. But
I'm that guy that wrote to you that I play your song every day on Instagram. That's hilarious.
I know.
Oh, so what have you got coming up then? I know you've got the Barrowlands show hopefully this year, if all is allowed to go ahead.
Yeah, that's the main thing that's in the diary at the moment. We've got a tour booked at the end of the year, so late November into December. Got some shows. Got obviously the Barrowlands, and then got some shows down south as well. Some like really amazing venues and stuff. So that's really exciting, and fingers crossed those can go ahead. And we're just we're checking every day what the situation is and playing it safe and things like that, because obviously, like every other band, we want to get back and play gigs as soon as we can, but we wouldn't really want to do it unless it was done in the right way, and it was safe for us and our crew and everything, but most importantly safe for our fans and things and the venue staff to put on these gigs. So fingers crossed they can go ahead, but we'll just have to keep our ears to the ground on that. And other than that, we're just we've taken this time to write a lot of music and get ideas down. So when we can get back in a studio, which we're sort of trying to work out how we could maybe do that now, when we can get back in a studio, we'll sort of hit the ground running with getting new material down to hopefully get another record together or an EP together or something. But that's our main thing, which I guess it kind of always is, just like gigs and recording. We're kind of, I guess we're sort of like a kind of back to basics band in that sense. That's our two main things. It's just trying to get in and record as much as we can and try and play as much as we can.
Am I right in saying that it was meant to be SWG free at first, and you smashed the sales for that, and they upgraded it to the Barras?
Well, yeah, that was it. SWG3 sold out sort of like a couple of weeks into lockdown, and then even at that point people were still like, oh, maybe we could still actually play gigs in May and June and things. And then obviously that didn't happen, but yeah, the plan kind of sort of was to play those shows in May and then play the Barrowlands later in the year, but we were just like, oh well, we may as well just upgrade that show. And yeah, so that was quite a weird feeling to think potentially the first gig we'll have played in about a year will be at the Barrowlands, which is quite a strange thing to think, but yeah,
it's an iconic venue, isn't it? I imagine for someone that's Scottish, grown up, and there's probably been many gigs over the years in the Barrowlands, to play that stage is quite special.
Oh no, it's pretty daunting, but it's it's very very special, and we're we feel very honored to be able to put our name on a show at the Barrowlands. It's a very exciting thing, and it makes us really proud that we've managed to get from, you know, selling out King Tut's to, you know, fingers crossed, selling at the Barrowlands like later in the year.
Where was your first gig then? What was your first gig? I know you said it was back in 2016. Was it local or?
The first gig was Vistas, was in Bannerman's Bar in Edinburgh, in the Cowgate, and that was the Bannerman's is actually a really great venue. I'd probably say it's slightly underrated, but that was just because we like formed Vistas, like we'd like started doing rehearsals and things as Vistas, just right at the end of 2015, and then we were like, oh, we should just play a gig, but because it was, you know, January, like there wasn't really anywhere booking anything, so we just booked Bannerman's ourselves, and we just put the show on there. So it was really fun. Like we got like a custom like backdrop made for it and everything, because we thought like we were like, oh, let's make this like the biggest show ever, even though Bannerman's is only like a 90 capacity venue or whatever. But yeah, that was a really, really, really fun gig.
I'd imagine you'll need a bigger backdrop for the bars then. You won't be able to use the same one.
I think so, yeah. I don't even know if we still have that. It might be in my garage somewhere, but I think I don't even know if we still have that backdrop somewhere. But
it's great just to see how far you've came though. It's absolutely brilliant to think, you know, 90 capacities up to must be 2,000 or something in there as well.
Yeah. No, it's a very weird sort of feeling, but yeah, as I say, we feel very honoured and proud that we managed to, you know, get from the 90 to the 2000. It's like it's a big thing for us for sure.
That's class, absolutely brilliant. And you were meant to be on Transmit as well this year, was that right? Main stage or?
Yeah, we're opening up the main stage on the Saturday, and that's you know, that's still happening next year. The Transmit lineups, I think almost exactly the same for next year. But so you know, we'll look forward to that next year. But like, yeah, that would have been really, really cool. But like, as I say, it happened next year, so that's all good.
Good. Did you have any other festivals lined up that you had to postpone or?
Yeah, we had a bunch this summer, like Truck and I mean, I can't actually remember off the top of my head, but there was we had like a nice run of festivals this season, and I think you know, we'll probably be on some of those bills next year as well. So you know, but we'll just cross that bridge when we come to it. But who knows? I mean, like it, you know, I just want festivals to come back in like a really good way, and like, you know, because you can't really do a festival like socially distanced or whatever. It has to be, you know, essentially just like a year later, so that things are, you know, more back to normal, and festivals can be done in the right way, because it would be like a proper weird experience, like being at a festival. There was loads and loads of restrictions in place about things, so you know, like I'll look forward to doing them next year for sure.
I've noticed. Have you seen these drive-through gigs that they're doing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they look quite cool. I mean, it's like, I guess people are just like so itching to like see like a gig. So like it's like, if those spaces exist, you may as well use them. And it's like, no, it's a cool idea. Like, it's a cool idea. And you know, if there's drive-in movie theaters, why can't there be drive-in venues?
It's a really cool concept. I don't know if it'll come across amazing or if it'll be quite reserved, but you know, it's important that they're doing it as well, because the music needs to keep ticking over, you know, and bands need to get paid and people want to listen to music, so why not?
Yeah, definitely. No, it's it'll be like interesting to see what they're like. But you know, who knows? It's good that live music's coming back in like some capacity, you know, regardless of like, you know, how it's framed. Like at least it's coming back in some way.
Exactly, and I suppose even though the first festivals like Transmit have been postponed, it gives you something to look forward to next year as well. And I'd imagine, you know, everyone that was planning to come along will come along the following year, and you know, it's still happening. That's the main thing, isn't it? Yeah,
definitely, and it's happening in a much like you know, as I was saying before, like it's not a good idea to like put on a festival if there has to be lots of health restrictions in place. So now that it's just, you know, now the festivals are coming back next year, they'll come back in the right way, and it'll be, you know, the festivals that people remember and love come back in, like, you know, a proper way. So yeah, next year should be good.
I really enjoyed your set, or your song that you done on Tune for the BBC. I watched it at the weekend there, and I thought it was absolutely brilliant.
Thanks very much. Cheers, man. Yeah, that was cool. I think we did a session for them, like, I don't know, probably about a year and a half ago. It's a good show, so like, yeah, it was cool to be asked back for that as well. Lots of good people on it as well.
It was a great lineup, actually. It was Cortinas, wasn't it? Liam Frey was on it as well.
Liam Frey was on that one, yeah. It's cool, like, and it's nice as well. Like, one of the small benefits, I guess, of like this period of time is like artists have been putting out material that they probably wouldn't have put out, they definitely wouldn't have put out. But for example, like Blossoms have done a bunch of covers and a bunch of their songs, like in sort of isolation session style thing, and then they're putting out a vinyl of that material. So,
are they? Right?
Yeah. So that's like a cool little thing that people are doing.
And you guys have done a few isolation sessions yourself as well.
Yeah, we've been doing them. Yeah, we've just been doing a bunch of stuff. Like, I've been doing some like covers nights, like on Instagram, and doing a couple of guitar lessons. So, because there'll be a lot of folk probably learning guitar in this period of time. So and a lot of our songs are quite easy to play, like if you're just a beginner. So we've been doing stuff like that, and I don't know, just like, as I say, the one kind of benefit, I guess, is that there's a bunch of bits and bobs that people have put out that people would have never ever seen before. And another benefit is,
have you had people playing along with you then? Have you been teaching them your own songs?
Yeah. I mean, like, we put up the thing on Instagram, and then we like save it to the profile so people can watch it later or whatever. And then usually, you do usually get like a bunch of people upload a cover of it, which is really cool because it's just nice to see people like engaging with the songs in a different way.
Totally, that's brilliant. And what I was going to ask you about as well is obviously the Scottish Album of the Year Awards is coming up. Are you putting the album in for that? Have you submitted an entry? Or?
I think so. Yeah, I think we have. To be honest, I don't actually know, but I think we have. If not, I'll check that. I'll check that when we jump off this call. But
I'm sure I saw the CA Awards. I'm sure they tweeted that you were certainly on the list. So,
all right, okay, fair. I'll double check that. Because it would be nice to be in that list.
Totally.
Like, I'll need to check that.
I'd like to think that you've got a good chance of potentially getting that as well.
Fingers crossed, man. Who knows?
Nice, good. And whereabouts are your gigs down south that you've got coming up? Where can people see you when it?
So playing. I can't remember the exact order, but we're playing Bristol, Leeds, Manchester, and London and Birmingham. And we're playing like some really cool venues. Like, we're playing Heaven in London, which is like pretty iconic venue, so that'll be really cool. And we're playing the Academy in Manchester as well. And we supported a couple of bands there, so now it's cool to like play our own gig there and stuff. So so all of that's just on, like, if you want tickets or just more information about like dates or whatever, that's just on our website, which is just vistasmusic.com. And yeah, so if any English listeners fancy coming along, that's where you can check out tickets and stuff.
What bands were you on tour with last then? Who were you on the road with?
Last tour we did was with Circa Waves. That was the last support tour we did. That was just over a year ago now.
The Barras with Circa Waves then, because they've done the Barras.
We did, yeah.
I'm talking earlier on as if it was your first time playing the Barras, but as you say, it's having your name on the headline as well, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So that was the last one, and then we did some stuff with Fatherson earlier in the year before that, and I can't remember. We just done a bunch of like our sort of thing when we were starting out was just like, let's just try and play as many gigs as humanly possible, whatever in the country as we can. So we did like support bills, just whatever. So we've played like so many different random cities all up and down the UK just as support, and half-hour sets, 20-minute sets and things. But yeah, like I think that's benefited, and like means that folk from all over the country like have gradually got into us, which is a really cool thing to see.
It must be good to see that as well, that you go and you'll support a band, and then you'll maybe meet some people at the show, and then once you announce your own headlines, it's the same people that are coming back and bringing their friends or their family. And
definitely. I mean, like when we're selling the merch after the gig, it's like, it's always surprising when you someone comes up to say hello or buy a t-shirt or whatever, and they say, "Oh, I saw you supporting this person," or "I saw you supporting this person in this venue." And then it's cool to see that, like, like just like grassroots playing a show, impressing an audience, and then they go, oh, I'll give this support band a chance, and then eventually, they become a fan of your band and come to your shows, and then the whole cycle just continues. They might like your support band, and then they go see them on their show, etc., etc. So I think it's cool to see that like people still do get their music from going to see a band live, and that the support band isn't just like fully ignored, because I think that's done us a lot of good, really, to be honest. Just literally supporting bands, and there'll be some people there who absolutely probably hated us, but as long as we can pick up some fans along the way, that's like the main thing.
Totally. That is my pet hate. It's people that just don't go in for the support bands, or they wait till the last minute before going in and sit in a pub down the road. It's like, get in there and support local music. And
no, it is a shame. Like, I mean, like, I guess you can sort of get it. I mean, like, I get the person's bought the ticket for the band, so they can do what they want, really. But like, it's just like, as well, if you're in the venue, like watching the support band, you should just at least give them like the time of day, and not just like talk throughout their full set or whatever. Like, exactly. At least like give them a wee chance, because you never know, they might eventually become your favorite band. So you do never know.
And you wonder who these support bands are that you've maybe missed, and you've not thought about it, and then down the line they're absolutely huge, and you're going along to their show, and you're like, I really should have watched them back then, or maybe you didn't even realise that's who was.
Yeah, well, I saw the Vaccine supporting the Arctic Monkeys, maybe in like 2011 or 2012 or something like that, and I was there, and I only caught like the last 3 songs of the Vaccines, and I was like, quite good, but like now the Vaccines are one of my favorite bands, and that first record is like one of my favorite albums, and like if I'd only arrived at the venue half an hour earlier, I would have got to see that set all the way through. But just one of those things, isn't it? But
it's funny how that works out, though, isn't it? And the Vaccines are really energetic live as well, aren't they? They put on a good show.
Yeah, definitely. No, like, I mean, I wish I'd seen that full set, because I never saw them on that like first album tour or anything. But yeah.
What was it like touring with Fatherson? I have to say, we've had Ross on here before, and he's one of the nicest people that I've ever come across. He's an absolute gentleman. So. They're
all absolutely lovely, and I think as well, because they've been touring like, so I mean, they've been touring since they were like, I don't know, 17 or something. So they kind of get what it's like. They fully understand what it's like, and they're really, really kind, and like, yeah, they were just lovely to like be on tour with, and it was just, I don't know, it's like, it's always fun like being with another Scottish band as well.
It's almost, you've got that kind of similar banter and chat, haven't you? That you might not get with or maybe I'm being unfair, you might not get with an English band. It's a different kind of humour, isn't it?
No, I like all the English bands we toured with as well. It's like always been a really good laugh, but like, it's just like your reference points and things when you're with a Scottish band, like, you can talk about Still Game or Tune the Fat or whatever, and people like, know what you're on about. So like, no, Fatherson were absolutely great to be on tour with, and that was like one of those tours as well. We were playing, like, we played some cities that we were like, I hadn't even heard of them prior to going on that tour. So that was really cool. And I'm sure we'll play a gig with them at some point again. Who knows?
It's interesting you said that, because when we had Ross on here, I'm sure that he says one of his favourite places to play, and he's like, you might think this is bizarre, but like, I love playing in Middlesbrough.
Middlesbrough's class, yeah. Middlesbrough's class. There's a really good promoter there, who just like, he's called Andy, and he just I don't even think it's his full-time job. It's his full-time job, but he just like, it's probably like one of the most dedicated promoters in the whole country. And it's really like, we played Middlesbrough a couple of times, and he always just, we don't, the times that we played it, like way back in the day, we didn't sell that many tickets or whatever, but Andy just like drums up the support and just gets folk along to the show and stuff. So yeah, Middlesbrough's like a very underrated place for gigs. Birmingham as well, I think, is like, it's obviously, it's a massive city. We don't necessarily think of it as like a properly like mad music town, but any gig we've ever played in Birmingham has been absolutely like off the charts. It's been absolutely amazing. So like, Birmingham's like behind like, Glasgow and Manchester and London. Like, I would say Birmingham's pretty level with all of them in terms of my favourite places to play.
That's interesting to hear that, because you never really hear Birmingham getting too many gigs or getting the credit. You know, it probably is.
It's class. Really, really class. It's like a Birmingham crowd is actually like they're quite mad. Like they're really, really good. So like I love playing shows in Birmingham and stuff like that as well.
Brilliant. Where can people check out the band then? Where can we hit you up if they want to go and listen to you after this?
Sure. Well, like Spotify is obviously the easiest place. Just type in Vistas and we should pop up. And yeah, like we're on Instagram and Twitter is just at Vistas Music. Just search us on Facebook as well if you want to keep up to date with like what we're doing. We've got some stuff planned for the next couple of months as well that we're putting out. So yeah, just give us a follow or whatever, and keep up to date with that.
Brilliant. And if you've not got it, please go and check out their debut album. It was absolutely fantastic. Prentice, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast. Thanks so much.
No worries. Thanks for having me, man. It's been great.
And thanks so much to everyone that's liked this episode of the podcast. If you've not, please subscribe, and we'll catch up again soon.